Frail from illness, the Pope delivered his benediction from an armchair on the steps of St. Peter's Basilica. The royal family attended a Christmas Eve service at the church on their estate in eastern England. The Queen Mother was greeted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. It was her first public appearance since she broke her collarbone nearly 2 months ago. Prince Charles and son William also came to worship. Hundreds of people waited outside to wish a Merry Christmas to the royals. The first family is celebrating Christmas in Washington. President Clinton, Mrs. Clinton, and Chelsea attended midnight mass at the National Cathedral. They also spent time with friend Vernon Jordan at his home. There, the president received a new set of golf clubs. Time now for our first look at the forecast. Meteorologist Kirk Clyatt is in for Lori Pinson. Kirk, you think it's ever going to warm up?
I don't know. It's kind of like the Queen Mum. The Queen Mum just keeps going and going in England in our cold weather. It just keeps going and going. But just think, we have a day with temperatures in the 40s for an overnight low. It'll feel so warm. Not going to happen in the morning. Mostly sunny and cold, but the sunshine won't last. The pattern is changing a little bit, and believe it or not, maybe not for the better. I'll detail just what to expect coming up in minutes on Fox 45 News at 10.
The Clinton era is coming to an end. What work will the president leave behind? Find out coming up. Meantime, George W. Bush is preparing to move into the White House. Will it be an easy transition? Dieting can be very difficult over the holidays, how to handle the temptations. And in tonight's cover story, we hit the slopes for a skiing adventure.
This is no kind of a tribal snow dance thing, is it?
Fox 45 News at 10, winner of 10 Emmy Awards, more than any other Baltimore news operation.
Event ends soon. See your local Ford dealer today.
So now that Christmas Day is almost history, it won't be long until the kids get restless. What do you do next? How about going skiing? As Kirk Clyatt shows us in tonight's cover story, it's easier than you think to have a family adventure on the slopes.
Are you ready?
Yes!
And away we go!
But if you've never been, you just can't go and jump on the lift.
Remember, I've never been skiing before.
Oh, I know that.
Ugh.
If you're a first-time skier, you would want a first-class package, which would include a lift lesson and rental.
Zip myself up here. All right, I'm ready for the winter adventure. Your first lesson is learning how to buckle your boots.
Go ahead and slide your foot right in. We have to calculate how the release works on the bindings upon your weight, your height, and your ability, skier ability.
Well, against your female nature, you really can't lie about your weight on this form because it'll affect your performance on the slope.
Okay, now, assuming that you gave me your correct weight and height, we'll adjust them up.
Now comes the real excitement.
Okay, can you make that V shape, that A shape? Uh-huh. Okay, now teeny steps that way. Whoops. I try to focus on keeping things really upbeat and a lot of encouragement. You know, things don't go right just right away, but if we praise effort as much as results, then the results come.
That was fun!
All right.
I actually scooted really fast.
This is hopefully just going to get us aware of where the tails of our skis are and where the tips of our skis are.
This is no kind of a tribal snow dance thing, is it?
The right instructor can help you make music on the slopes.
Well, I play percussion, and I play with the Baltimore Symphony and the Philadelphia Orchestras. So I play part-time with both of those orchestras, and I take my winters off, and I do work here actually full-time in the winter. So let's just take a little walk. We're on relatively flat ground, and we're just going to walk, just kind of like a cross-country thing.
Come on, you go.
Looks like he's doing better than I am, which shouldn't be so surprising.
The kids and the adults will learn very differently. Kids aren't worried about going to work the next day. In fact, they prefer not to go to school the next day. So they're going to rip, they're going to want to have fun, they're going to really go crazy. The adults are going to be a little bit more timid for the most part. And they're going to learn a little differently. They're going to be a little bit more head-oriented rather than body-oriented. So for that reason, it's a really good idea to split them up.
You don't have the kids there.
After your basic training at the base of the hill, it's time for your ride up to the top.
The chair is going to come and scoop you right up.
All right.
Okay.
At the top of the hill, I met 6-year-old Abby, who explained how she became such a good skier.
Well, I practiced.
If Abby can do it, so can I.
This will give you a whole new appreciation for snow.
Sure, it may be a little scary.
Going down a steep hill, yes.
After only about an hour on the slopes, Andra is on her own and heading downhill. Any fear Jay may have had quickly became history.
Do you think it's possible that you can just go full speed down?
Well,
and
let's
slow
go
to
full
a
speed
stop?
when you get really, really good. And right now, let's make some turns to stay in control. You! Look at you! He did great. He did excellent. He was an excellent turner. Right from the get-go, he was an excellent turner. And when he started down the hill up there, he wanted to learn to stop. He wanted to practice that, so he was a safe skier, and he was easy to teach.
That was wonderful. What a sensation. I mean, just to ski, but then to see him enjoying it too really adds to it. Oh, it's fantastic.
It's great when you can do it together and watch. It's like watching first steps all over again.
Can we do it again?
I'm ready for the next level.
This slope is Snow Park.
A little steeper.
It's a great sense of freedom. You're flying down these slopes, and I think that the white snow and the gray sky sort of allows you to sort of become all one. It was much easier than I expected, but I give full credit to the instructors. I just think this is an overall great experience.
Yep.
I really, and it
love
was a
it.
milestone that I got to achieve with my son. I think that was
Yep, I love
great
it.
aspect of it.
I love it so much.
And after you learn to ski, you can always try snowboarding.
Got my weight over the board.
You're gonna fall sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a learning process.
And indeed it is. Now, if you're thinking heading out to the slopes, be sure to check ahead. Now, we have a ski report for you Thursday through Saturday, right before the weathercast here on Fox 45. And of course, you can also check local resorts' websites. We've linked the site for Whitetail. That's where we went, to our website at foxbaltimore.com. Just click on the sightseeing section, and there you can find the link.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proud of you.
One of the things I learned, though, out there, you need all the equipment. They actually have special socks to wear for your ski boots that are very, very helpful. And if you're going to be going skiing the next couple of days, these little hand warmers, you just take them out, and it's amazing. Put them in your hand, and you put them in your glove, and they warm you up. But we just opened it up.
Fast.
Yeah, so they last for like 7 hours or so, because we've got some cold temperatures. And if you are a skier, well, I mentioned a moment ago that you may not like what we've got in the forecast, but if you're a skier, maybe the other way around. You may like what we've got
Any
coming
injuries?
up.
You tend to get injured.
You know, yeah, but I did have a couple of really good falls, but Jody Weldon, our photojournalist, was not quite in the right position to catch some of those monumental stumbles down the hill. But I lived through it this time.
I
It was
enjoyed
fun.
watching you.
Thank you, thank you. And Andra and Jay, they were great too.
They were.
First time on the slopes, and you saw how much family fun it can be out there in the mountains, in the snow.
Thanks, Kirk.
It's getting hot.
I know.
It's getting hot.
Thank you, Kirk. There's more to come on the News at 10. More than 1,000 acres burned in Florida, but firefighters are now getting an upper hand. Details ahead. No white Christmas in Oklahoma, just a layer of ice. Freezing rain fell overnight, and police urge everyone to stay off the roads. Lighter than normal traffic helped keep the number of accidents to a minimum. However, more ice is expected tonight. And here at home, we are talking once again about snow. Let's check back with meteorologist Kirk Clyatt. Kirk, what can you tell us?
Well, that system that we showed you there in Oklahoma, it could be, and I want to emphasize could be, the one that brings us some snow. This is regional Skyscan radar of the last 12 hours. Just a couple of very light snow streamers coming off Lake Erie. So it's really been some good traveling weather in the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast today. But what about tomorrow? A wild time if you're going to places like Dallas or Oklahoma. Cold, of course, in the Midwest, and strong Santa Ana winds up to 80 miles an hour in Southern California. So maybe you should just stay home here in Maryland. I'll let you know what to expect and when the snow could arrive again. Coming up next on Fox 45 News at 10.
Last. See your Buick dealer today.
Now, meteorologist Kirk Clyatt with a forecast.
Just enough snow left to make it nice for a first Christmas morning sleigh ride. This is 1-year-old Kira enjoying the snow. She's the daughter of our producer, Kathy Hobbs. So there she goes. There she goes. Enjoy. And then once you go in and you warm up, Then you can come back out and watch the eclipse. Did you happen to see it? Here's the right way to watch it. We have Teresa of our staff and Andre. You get 2 pieces of paper, and then what do you see? If you missed it, next time there'll be an eclipse. You want to do this, and there it is. There is the moon. It only happens on the new moon phase, the moon eclipsing the sun, right about 43%. And if you missed it, well, that's it. This was a once-in-a-lifetime event that we had. The next one that you'll see here in North America on Christmas Day is in 2383. So even if you take real good care of yourself, it's going to be tough to make it that long. This morning, beautiful, and of course we thought, well, can you see a difference on the ground when an eclipse is happening? We took a look, and you really can't. You have to have about 90% of the sun covered. Otherwise, you really don't notice much of a difference. And then, of course, during the afternoon, a beautiful sunset. We needed every one of those rays today to try to warm us up, but it really just wasn't happening. We stayed in the 20s throughout the entire day. Big Arctic area of high pressure dominating. Now, it's going to be an interesting battle the next couple of days. This high is just huge. It is something, the barometric pressure like you'd see in northern Canada, as you'll see in a moment. So it's going to work hard to keep this mess at bay, but we're going to watch this as it tracks in our direction. We take you up even higher and take you into the storm. Area of low pressure here in West Texas, going to try to propel it along. And this is probably the worst weather in the country tonight. Talk about a miserable weather Christmas. What's this? This is Shreveport, Louisiana, Texarkana, Arkansas, back to Monroe, Louisiana. Forecast there can be described in one word, yuck. You got an idea of the mess they're having, the real mix of weather. Here's that area of high pressure that's going to be moving in our direction and then down towards the south of us. So it doesn't look like much in the way of precipitation the next couple of days. Maybe a little trough, bringing us some snow showers tomorrow night. But this is the big storm that we're watching, and it's going to take a few days to affect us. But freezing rain in the Dallas area, Oklahoma, just a complete mess. So is Arkansas, and then back down into Louisiana. And they could have miserable conditions tomorrow. Now, BWI today, the thermometer was reading about 8 to 10 degrees higher than the actual temperature. So it was trying to warm us up. It was thinking warm thoughts. So we're using Martin State Airport's temperature. 19 degrees overnight, made it to 27 in the middle of the night, and now back down into the teens. But look at this, even without factoring in the wind chill. Elkins, West Virginia is at 3 degrees below zero. Pittsburgh has a wind chill of 8 degrees below zero. So I guess all things considering, our wind chill of 8 isn't all that bad. And the winds will be diminishing overnight. But for this Christmas Day, 2015 degrees below normal. At least we weren't flirting with a record of 0 set back in 1983. Here's where we are now. Dew point just at 4. Very dry air. 47% is the humidity. And look at that barometric pressure. You look at that and you know, it's not summertime anymore, because that is something you only see during the winter months. Here's what's going to happen over the next 24 hours watching this mess in the south central states. But notice how little progress it makes over the next 24 hours. Why? Because high is blocking it. Watch this little trough, maybe a few snow showers that we'll be talking about tomorrow night, but it's not going to be any great big deal. Here's the jet stream pattern moving the southern system along and keeping the cold air in place. Here's your forecast. Clear, cold, the winds diminishing, 13 in the suburbs, 18 at the Inner Harbor. Sunny in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, westerly winds maybe preceding the little trough. We'll get into the 30s, and they're the flurries, and right now the timing is still a little critical. I know Deborah's been asking me all afternoon and evening, when's it gonna snow? When's it gonna happen? It looks like right now it'll be on Friday and then maybe into Saturday. So a white end to the year 2000.
Wow.
Could be. That's all subject to change.
Of course.
How's the hand warmer working?
Hey, it's pretty good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Keeping you warm?
It's hot.
Good.
All right,
good.
Kirk, thank you. After all the celebrations are over, you will probably be taking down that Christmas tree. Here's how to dispose of it properly.
And the Yellow Cab Company is offering free rides home to people who have had too much to drink. Big celebrations are planned for Baltimore and Annapolis to help ring in the new year. And one of the main performers scheduled for First Night Annapolis celebration is a rare combination of musician and inventor. Kirk Clyatt has his story.
In a home in downtown Baltimore, musical magic is made. Abu, with some help from his trusty dog Pudgy, can turn almost anything into music.
Started about 28 years ago. After going to school for psychology and sociology, I got kind of bored because I had a lot of talent that I wanted to express, because I was always an artist and always recycling things into something. stopped being noise to me after tuning so many instruments. And every time I hear sound, it becomes a note, you know? Even when people are talking, I hear musical notes. I have a sardine can here that's made into an African thumb piano.
With a boo, that's just the start.
I have this bedpost that I play sometime when I sit in with the jazz band. When I saw the bedpost, well, my imagination kind of got around with me. I call this a bootar. This is like a one-string sitar that I made from a dresser drawer, 2 pieces of molding stripping, and 1 musical wire. Whoa!
This was one of my favorite instruments.
Yes, a hands-on show.
Maybe it could be the new weather.
All right.
It's gonna be cold. Like,
oh yeah.
Is that a cold sound?
That's a cold sound.
At First Night Annapolis, a boo will let you try to make some unique sounds.
It's a very interactive show, and they'll be able to play many of the instruments. When I was stationed in Texas, they told me that a tin horn was an inexperienced cowboy. And I tell them, this is a tin horn, and it's made from a variety of different types and sizes of cans. And if they have to know, tomato paste can, orange juice can, bean can, chicken noodle soup can, pineapple can, sweet potato can, African American, and Puerto Rican.
But that's far from all you can do with tin cans.
People bring their kids here and they make their little drums and decorate them the way they like.
Fantastic.
And these are like little coffee can drums with rubber car tie, rubber inner tube is what I have on the heads, and use regular electrical wire to clamp them down. I want to inspire young people to do handy things with their hands, crafty things, and to recycle. See, everyone has a gift. Everyone has something. I believe that God gave everybody something. And they can find that something and make a living with it. Like no one ever thought that I could make a living playing junk, you know, things that people have thrown away.
In Baltimore, I'm Kirk Clyatt, Fox 45 News at 10.
Fox 45 is a media sponsor of the First Night Annapolis festivities. If you would like to learn more about them, you could log on to foxbaltimore.com and click on the sightseeing section.
Maryland's Department of Environment says the fire posed no environmental threat to the area.
Okay, here's the deal. By this time tomorrow night, we could be seeing the first of the snowflakes starting to fall.
But then what? That's what we've been saying all day.
All week.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Kirk Clyatt. In tonight for Lori Pinson.
You know, I'm having a hard time getting Mother Nature to return my phone calls, but we'll see if we can analyze what's going on. Hard to believe there is this big storm lurking when you take a look at the afternoon. Just beautiful, but notice by the evening, just before sunset, we're starting to see some of these high clouds rush in from the west. Actually, it's looking down towards the south, so we were really in the right spot today. Look at this. Clouds to the south of us, clouds to the north of us, and clouds to the west, but we enjoyed some sunshine today. Of course, with clouds overnight, it kept us from getting too cold. Temperature down 23, which is right about where it should be this time of the year. But with those northerly winds, didn't warm up much today. So cold it must have froze over the thermometer at BWI at this hour, but the temperature is in the middle 20s, 25 degrees was our last report. Here is the story. Here is what we've got for you. A winter storm watch for tomorrow night, notice, not during the day. During the day, you should be in good shape. Just how much is going to fall? Possibly 6 inches in Baltimore. If you're going to the north and to the east, watch out. 12 inches in Philadelphia. We'll try to narrow down the timing for you and let you know what to expect for a winter weekend to end the year 2000 in just a couple of minutes. Deborah?
All right, Kirk, thank you. Well, this deep freeze is keeping Baltimore Public Works crews very busy.
I just thought I'd go off a little bit there.
And you did. Yeah. I would not want to be Kirk Clyatt today.
Well, you know, you can win, or either way he calls it, it's difficult stuff.
You're right.
He's only the messenger, though. Let's check in there with Kirk.
Let's look at it this way. If we're going to get socked in by snow, it's just going to keep on falling. This is the time to have it happen. It's not going to start till late on Friday night. Great TV viewing. It's going to be weather. It's going to be over by the time the Ravens game starts on Sunday. Getting to the stadium could be fun, and these are probably something like the wind chills you'll be looking at. 14 is what it is now. That's probably what it'll be for wind chill at about kickoff. So it is cold out there. Plenty of cold air in place with the clouds overnight, and that little bit of snow that came through about 7 in the morning didn't cool off all that much. Gee, it was almost normal, the overnight low 23, but certainly couldn't get anything warming up today, just up to 29, down to 25 now. Still very dry, humidity at 38%. Those winds out of the northwest at 8, and actually the barometer is rising right now. 2 storm systems to look at, the one to the south and the one to the west and to the north of us. Actually, it's a very interesting scenario because really neither one of them is going to get us. What's going to happen with this system that's been delivering, yes, some freezing rain to portions of North Georgia and Alabama, it's going to be instrumental in spawning the area of low pressure that looks like it could get us. So for right now, over the last 12 hours, all we really showed was early this morning, right there at 7 o'clock, had that little trace of snow push on through. So nothing during the daylight hours tomorrow at all. Here is what I am forecasting to have happen. Watch what happens with this area of low pressure developing here off the Carolina coast. As it moves up the coast, of course, it pulls in a lot of Atlantic moisture. It's going to be worse to the east and to the north of Baltimore. This will have a minimal impact on us. Winter storm watch for tomorrow night and mainly late night, probably after 10 o'clock, after midnight. You've got plans for tomorrow during the day. No problem. Here's the forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy, cold again, so what's new? Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 for tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, believe it or not as cold with some of the clouds about freezing for the high. And here's your 5-day forecast. Here's where the problem is on Saturday. 6 inches possible in Baltimore, worse in Philadelphia, and as you go up towards the northeast. And of course, we'll keep working on this, keep refining it, keep getting it together as we head towards the big Ravens victory on Sunday.
Nice. Good thinking.
That's what I'm talking about, Kirk.
That's right.
Good job.
Way to go.
Thanks, Kirk.
My pleasure.
Well, one day after they were reported missing, a mother and daughter are returned to the San Francisco Zoo.
You see, yesterday someone broke through a skylight and took the 2 koalas.
For another update on the track of the storm, we will check back with meteorologist Kirk Clyatt. Kirk.
Well, Jennifer, it doesn't look like much now, but this is one of those times we're putting our faith into science in the numerical weather models. There are lots of them. They're called the ADA model, the aviation model, European model. And what they all do is intensify this low that is now, you can see it, beginning to verify the low is developing off the coast of North Carolina, and it is heading towards the north. We've got the cold air in place. Our temperature not going to change much overnight. Actually not going to be as cold tonight as it was last night, but still plenty cold enough for the snow to develop. Not a lot happening here on the satellite image, but this will look significantly different tomorrow. The low should be off the coast of New England, and as it does move through, heavy snow. Here's our precision cast as we look into the future. You get an idea of what to expect early in the morning, and by noontime, some heavy snow could be falling. The heaviest, though, Delaware, New Jersey, it is going to be a wild ride to the north. I wouldn't advise it. And then by this time tomorrow, it should be all over. Windy and cold conditions are what you can expect for the Ravens game on Sunday. So here's what we're forecasting. 7 inches of snow for Baltimore and 12 inches of snow for Philadelphia. The track of that low is going to have a big determining factor on just what to expect. So, Jennifer, it looks like the color of the day tomorrow in Baltimore will be white and then hopefully purple on Sunday.
That's right.
With the Ravens. So,
well, at least got the colors right.
That's right. We'll keep you posted as this storm does develop.
Thank you, Kirk, and thank you for joining us tonight on the News at 10. I'm Jennifer Gilbert. Please join us again tomorrow for WB54 News at 6:30. And now it's time to check in with Steve Davis for Sports Unlimited. Steve.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way. What? All right, I'm out of here. Should I go over and see you?
I don't come into your
I've always wanted to be on the sports side. Oh, okay, I'm out of here. All right.
Okay, I don't come into your shot.
You can visit sometime.
Hogging the whole show.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Mother
like
Nature.
8 minutes.
It's Mother Nature. All right, I'm out of here, Steve.
Probably end up being like flurries or something.
I'm out of here.
All right, coming up on Sports Unlimited tonight, the anticipation builds not for the snowstorm, but the first playoff game in Charm City since Jimmy Carter was president. We'll preview the big event.
Marylanders are bracing for a winter blast. Meteorologist Kirk Clyatt is tracking the storm. He joins us now from the Sky Center with the very latest. Kirk.
Well, Jennifer, when you take a look at the day that was, it's a little bit deceiving. We actually had some sunshine in the morning. That clear skies overnight allowed the temperature to drop down to 15. But notice where these clouds are coming in from. These clouds are coming in from the north and primarily from the west. That is not where this storm is going to be moving in from. This storm is going to be a nor'easter moving in from the south. 12 hours ago, some clear skies in Maryland, and this is the leading edge of that Midwestern storm, which won't really have a big impact on us. Maybe in the western portion of the state. It's a low that's now just developing. We'll detail further later in the newscast down off the coast of North Carolina that is the reason for this winter storm warning for 20 of the 23 counties in Maryland. Now, what I'm predicting by the time the storm wraps up, it should be beginning to end about 24 hours from now. Approximately 7 inches of snow in Baltimore, more to the north and east. Now, a lot will depend on where this area of low pressure tracks. If it tracks closer to the coast, it could be rain right along the immediate shoreline, but we could have more like 12 inches of snow, which is what I'm predicting for Philadelphia. If it's further out to sea, we could have less. So it's going to be a very interesting 24 hours. We'll show you lots of radars and detail just what I think is going to happen over the next 24 hours coming up in just a few minutes. Jennifer?
Thank you, Kirk. Well, thousands of people are scrambling to prepare for this storm in a month real
like
fast.
that.
Looks like we're going to have a little Denver weather for the Broncos when they show up.
Yeah, maybe they'll get, well, actually, they're on their way in. They're beating
They
the
are
weather.
on their
flying.
way?
Yeah, they're flying in today, so they won't get snowed out.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Well, for the very latest on the storm that we've been talking about throughout our newscast, we're going to check back with Kirk Clyatt.
Well, you know, they have a heated field at PSI Net Stadium, so at least the snow should be off the field. Shouldn't be a big factor on the field. In the stands, I don't know, windy for the game. 26 degrees in Salt Lake City, 33 in Denver, so it's warmer in Denver than it is here in Baltimore, but look across the country. Hard to find many places with warm temperatures, except maybe the Southwest. 31, we did manage to get up at least, well, almost to freezing today, but take a look at this. The record high, 77. That's the warmest it's ever been in December. That was back in 1984. Wouldn't that feel nice? 27 is where we are now, and notice the dew point measure of moisture in the atmosphere is moving up. It's got to move higher for that snow to begin, and it looks like it certainly will. Now, here is what we're dealing with. Winter storm warning beginning at 4 a.m. It's not in effect now. If you've got plans this evening, you should be okay. I'm predicting 7 inches of snow in Baltimore, less to the west. For instance, Washington should maybe only have 4 to 5 inches of snow. The north and the east is where the real problem is. We're watching the track of this low. Here is the way it's been over the last 12 hours. This big system that made it so miserable in the Midwest, not a big factor for us. We're watching this low that is now beginning to develop off the coast of North Carolina, but watch how rapidly it moves off the coast. So we're talking about some heavy snow during the day tomorrow. It could be snowing at times of 1 to 2 inches per hour. And of course, the circulation around the low will bring in that Atlantic moisture. If it hugs the coast, it could be rain right along the coast, and we could have more than 7 inches. If it's further out to sea, it could be a little less than 7 inches in Baltimore. And this is the jet stream for tomorrow. The door to the Arctic just stays open. It just doesn't look like any real big warm-up anytime soon. Here's the way the forecast does shape up. Cloudy, late-night snow beginning 4 a.m. Temperatures not going to change much from where it is now. Winter storm warning from 4 in the morning until 8 in the afternoon. Heavy snow, windy conditions, too. At least the winds are light at this time, but it should also be breezy, too, for the Ravens game that'll be coming up on Sunday. Now, this is our Precision Cast, a look into the future. You get an idea of when the heaviest snow will be and why we're predicting it to be worse to the north and to the east of us. Here's your 5-day forecast. Normal is the low 40s. Don't see it there, but maybe at least by midweek, temperatures in the upper 30s. So the snow is going to stick around with us for a while.
All right. You'll keep us posted.
We certainly will.
That's all our time tonight at 6:30. Join us again at 10.
Break. Byron Mouton, best game as a Terp, leading the way with 28. 105-53 is the final score. All right, in case anyone's looking for some crow, there's probably a shortage of it in Baltimore because all the meteorologists, they're eating it today. Yeah, look, I'm not the kind of guy to toot my own horn. You know, I'm no weather guy, but maybe I should because it seems I was the only one in town close to getting the forecast right.
Falling 7 inches of snow is what we're looking at in Baltimore.
Hogging the whole show.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Mother Nature. It's Mother Nature. All right, I'm out of here, Steve.
Probably end up being like flurries or something.
7 inches of snow is what we're looking at.
Probably end up being like flurries or something. Let's see, 7 inches or flurries. I would say flurries. Hey, everyone, I want a little standing ovation, okay? Come on, Dimitri. Everyone,
nice job.
It takes a big man for Kirk Clyatt to come in here today. No fake mustache, no bag over his head. He shows up for work like any other day. Let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a little tip.
Okay, Steve.
Don't forecast snow for tomorrow's game.
No way.
You can say cold. You can say windy.
Cold.
Just don't say snow.
All right, Steve, by the way, what is the score for the game going to be tomorrow? I go out on a limb.
Oh, geez, we're out of time.
Score?
What's that? Pitch to Kirk, Clyatt. No, don't answer that question. Out of time. Geez, I'm sorry. I'd love to give you the score.
Okay, fine. Score. See, we go out on the limb here in weather. We do. Although, look at all that snow here this afternoon. Yeah, it's a nice sunset. Missed it by that much. Kind of like just having 1 foot out of bounds was the story. Here's where they didn't get missed at all. The biggest snowfall in 40 years in December for Central Park. 9 inches of snow in Philadelphia. Just a little bit on the eastern shore. And maybe you'll actually get a few flurries, as Steve predicted tonight. And how about this for the first time in a few days? Above freezing. Still, though, 9 degrees below normal. And with the clear skies this morning, we did drop down to 19, 6 degrees below normal for the overnight low. Back down below freezing, still dry air in place, west winds. Those flurries will have a tough time making it all the way to the ground because what few they are, chances are, will evaporate before they make it to the surface. Cold temperatures, that is the big story now. Now they start to dig out from the snow and the travel problems that were reported earlier. The story is going to be the cold in the south. We're talking about frost and freeze advisories in effect as far south as South Florida. Look at this. The jet stream just won't let up, so no real warm-up, no normal temperature in sight. Maybe by Friday we can get to balmy 40 degrees, and after what we've been through, 40 will actually feel warm. Look at this. These are the lows for tonight. Miami, 41 degrees for a forecast low, 20 in Atlanta, and you get an idea of some of the other very cold numbers. So for us, it's been so cold, I'm just putting cool. 23 to 26. Usually it's cold, but after what we've been through, it's going to be cool with west winds. Tomorrow it's going to be hot at PSI Net Stadium. Breezy winds. Matt Stover, he won't mind. He'll still get them through the uprights. 34 to 37. Expect a wind chill if you're going to the game of about 10 degrees. So dress for it. Windy conditions. And hey, after today, we just took all the precipitation out of the forecast, and you know, it kind of reminds me of some of my stock picks on Wall Street this year. You know, they looked really good. Looked like a sure thing.
But better this way than the other way. It's better that you didn't say that, oh, our weather's going to be fine today, and then we get a foot of snow.
You know, we think we know what's going on. It just goes to show Mother Nature is still the boss.
That's right. Thank you, Kirk. Well, finally tonight, an art exhibit in Lithuania is getting an icy reception. 100 tons of ice have been trucked into Cathedral Square so artists can carve their frozen creations. Chilly temperatures are helping to preserve the sculptures, which are supposed to capture the spirit of the country. And the artists are competing for $750 in cold cash.
By the way, anyone need any toilet paper, milk,
You're not going to find it. You're out of luck.
By the way, the score of the game will be 2014 Ravens tomorrow.
Oh,
just in case you're wondering.
Going out on a limb again?
Steve can do weather. You know, why not?
And 7 inches of snow.
That's all the time tonight in the news at 6:30. We'll see you.
You alright? Knock some sense into me. You alright? Barely. God. Yeah, you shouldn't walk around down there.
If you foolishly disregard the advice of the Department of Natural Resources Police and go out on the ice anyway, and it starts to crack under you, get down as low as you can so you spread your weight out over as wide an area as possible. Yeah, I really wish I had that fall.
To repeat the same answers, but how can you not? The answer to the question is the answer to the question. Right. And that's sometimes when you, I learned a long time ago, that sometimes you look at coaches' answers and players' answers, and it's a dumb answer, and you don't stop to think, well, maybe it was a dumb question. Right, you know, maybe it was the repetitive, and so when you have to answer it time and time again, you try to give a little bit of change to it, but sometimes the answer is just the answer. 1 + 1 is going to be 2, no matter how you answer it.
And you seem pretty relaxed with the media. Is this
well,
something you're pretty easy
going?
My
degree, my master's is in communication that way.
Does the ownership change have any effect in this?
Not right now. You know, obviously it's very